Hello everybody, my name is Atefan and welcome to the first Factory Friday. In fact, welcome to Factory Fridays in general and welcome to Satisfactory. Now, let me start by prefacing what a Factory Friday is. This is a little thing I'm doing where every Friday, what video I normally post in my 2 p.m. to 20 to 30 minute video slot will be a video on a factory game, something like Satisfactory or Factorio, things like that. Because I really love automation, optimization type games. I have loved them ever since I started playing this game. I've been playing Satisfactory since just about when it came out in early access a couple years ago. And I absolutely love this game. It's so fun to go through and do all the math and optimize and watch everything work and go together and do really well. So, yeah, I'm really excited to do this. But yeah, so every Friday we will have, I'm going to start in the desert because the desert has more resources, which is great. But I am going to be playing factory games every Friday. Or at least posting them every Friday. And yeah, that's going to be a thing that we're going to do. And so I'm going to skip the onboarding process because that is something that you kind of do to start learning the game. But as someone who already knows the game quite well, I don't want to go and sit through that. But if you are interested in that, you should check out the game yourself. It's a very fun game. Obviously, I'm not about to sit here and tell you that it's a game for everyone.
Hub upgrade 6. Landing platform hydraulics completed. Freighter landing initialized.
Hi, Ada.
Congratulations, you have completed onboarding and achieved the absolute minimum skill level required of a Fix-It pioneer. Fix-It looks forward to your future achievements, because a future with Fix-It is a future with you. Tier 1 and 2 milestones are now available in the hub, and biomass burners can now be built individually. Your first official objective is to initiate project assembly by building the space elevator. This objective will take a significant amount of resources, so Fix-It recommends getting to work.
Thanks, Ada. I'll get right on that. So yeah, I'm not about to sit here and say this is a game for everyone. Obviously, you know, it's not a super action-packed game by any means, but I find it really fun to get around and do some of the later game factories where, you know, you're building like hundreds and hundreds of buildings, producing hundreds and hundreds of things, and it all is just working together, and you watch it, right? You watch it and you turn it on and everything starts going and it starts working good, and it's so fun to watch, and it's so accomplishing to have this where, you know, you've built this thing and everything's working. Except when it doesn't, because you forgot to set a recipe on something or put a conveyor in. I would never do that. I promise. That's another one of those I'm lying moments. I will definitely do that and have to fix it when it doesn't work. But I am just currently running to get to a spot that I personally like to start in because it gives a nice amount of the first resource you need, which is iron, copper, and limestone. Iron for plates and rods, which are used for conveyor type stuff. And then just in buildings, the components to build buildings require a lot of iron. It's also near some copper, which is good because that's wire and cable, and those are obviously very important for like power and wiring up stuff. And then limestone is just good for concrete, which if you don't build your factories on concrete, I am going to call you a heathen. I'm just gonna do it because building factories on concrete just looks so much better than anything else, than not doing it. Of course, I will have to do it because at the moment... Hello, Freighter. How are you doing? At the moment, I don't have the research, so as you see, we have these milestones. If you're not familiar with the game, basically, you get milestones to unlock certain things. So base building, for example, unlocks my foundations that I love. Logistics unlocks splitters and mergers, which are very important for managing resources and getting your efficiency locked in. Field research isn't that useful because it just unlocks the MAM and stuff, which has its uses, don't get me wrong. But at the moment, it's not particularly useful. And in Tier 2, we have some other stuff that we need to do, like assemblers for building higher tier components and stuff that require 2 inputs instead of just 1. But yeah, this is the research. And the research is very important because it unlocks you things, but to get them, you have to get a certain number of like the basic components, or as you get higher, you'll see like this requires rotors, which is a higher level component that is required an assembler to actually make to actually produce. So we have to go through and get some of those to start, so we can get our stuff together. But for now, I'm going to start building some of the very basic, like, iron and copper production factories. Because those are very important to just get your plates going for conveyors and stuff, get your rods going for power poles and mergers, and I need my hitty stick. Hi. Excuse me. Excuse me. Come back here. Thank you. Hi, Ada.
Samples of new alien species acquired. Notable features are blunt teeth, suggesting it is herbivorous, and a thickly plated skull and spine, suggesting it is proficient at inflicting and receiving blunt force trauma. Preserve the remains for later study.
I did, Ada, but also, I don't believe in its herbivorousness. Don't think that's a word. Since it did just try to murder me. But, okay, so now we need to build. So first we put a miner on the deposit. That's the first important step, because this starts to automate the mining process. Obviously, you are able to physically mine, and I'm sure you will see me doing some of that later. Probably fast-forwarded and sped up, because it's a slow process, and you don't want to see me doing all that. But you can do that if you need resources quickly, but for automation, you need the miner. Now, resource things, I'm going to start trying to explain a little bit, in case you're not familiar with the game, have 3 tiers. So there's impure, normal, and pure. What that means is the extraction rate. So for a miner Mark 1, which is what I have access to now, the default extraction rate for a normal deposit is 60 per minute. So that'll put 60 per minute out on a conveyor that I put into it, and I can just put a conveyor down now real quick. So 60 per minute will come out into this conveyor, and this is a conveyor belt Mark 1, which means just transport 60 per minute, which is perfect. It works out really nicely. For impure, that halves it, so you only get 30 per minute, and pure boosts it up to 120, which at the moment I can't even deal with, even if I wanted to, because I don't have the proper conveyors. So, next, for a factory, the next important step is turning raw resources into not raw resources. So, for this, we use a smelter for all the metals, because that gives us ingots. So we turn ore into ingots. And for now, though I will actually build the infrastructure, since, as you may have seen, this recipe, that's the word I'm looking for, takes 30 iron per minute and turns it into 30 iron ingots. So, with this producing 60, I'm going to eventually want 2 smelters working. Obviously, because I cannot split this conveyor at the moment, I can't actually set it up properly to do that, so it'll just be inefficient for a little while, which sucks, but I have to deal with it for now. And then we put a constructor down. So once you smelt ingots, you generally are tossing them into a constructor. This is where you turn those ingots into a finished product, or at least a semi-finished product, as obviously as we get to later factories, plates will become more advanced plates, which will become more advanced plates, etc., and it'll keep kind of going. But for now, I'm going to turn these iron plates, which iron plates takes 30 iron ingots per minute to 20 iron plates, which works really nicely because a smelter produces 30 iron ingots per minute, so it's just a 1-to-1 ratio of constructor to smelter, which is really nice and easy. And then finally, when we're done with the factory, we just toss a little storage container down, so we have plenty of storage for the resources we're producing. I put that very off. Whatever, it's fine, it doesn't really matter. And I will actually not put the other constructor down yet, because constructors take reinforced iron plates to make, which I don't have in excess at the moment. Hi. Excuse me, stop running away. Thank you. Thank you for dying in a nice, convenient manner. So that starts our plate production. I need to actually power this for it to do anything. So we're going to put power poles down. Now, an important thing to note with power poles, if you are to play this game, is power poles, or at least the Mark 1 power poles, have 4 power connections, right? As you can see when I'm on here, it says I have 3 out of 4, because there's 3 power lines going into this. Why it's really important to pay attention to that is because if you run out of connections, you run out of connections. So you never want to have a power pole connected to more than 2 things. It should always be connected to 2 things and 2 other power poles to continue the system. And I can't power you because I need biomass. Yes? Yes. I need some biomass. Time to go deforest this place. Or more accurately, pick up some grass because I don't have a chainsaw yet. So yeah, this is... So at the beginning of the game, you have biomass power. Biomass power is let's just say, the most unfortunate type of power in the game, because you can't automate it. So unlike coal power, where you mine coal from a deposit like we did with the iron, and then the coal extractors actually require water in them as well to function, but you can automate that all so that power just is infinite and you don't have to really think about it beyond, do I have enough power to actually power what I'm doing? But at the beginning stages of the game, you have biomass, which means I need to sit here and pick up grass for a little bit. So I'm gonna fast forward this. You'll come back to me when I'm done absolutely taking up all of this stuff. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Boop ba doo doo bop ba dee bop hibbity bop boo da boop ba doo 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 da boo ba doo ba doo habba da boop bop ba doo. Okay, well, I have seriously committed very serious acts of eco-terrorism, so I am now back to turn that into fuel for my power grid, so I can hopefully start mining this world for all of its resources and probably creating a ton of pollution and probably... I'm really not a good person, am I? I'm really not good for this planet, but efficiency. It's all about efficiency. Anyway, enjoy some sped up biomass production. Biomass. Now, eat some biomass. And then we can start powering this so our plates will start producing. Yeah, we see it'll take a minute because the miner kind of has to get going, get rolling, actually get the drill in the ground. But it'll start producing iron. And then iron will go into the smelter, which will produce the ingots, which goes into the constructor, which will produce my plates, which will then go into the storage for me to pick up at my leisure. I think next on my agenda is now rods production. Since that's the other iron production, I might as well just do it. Can I get up? Let me up. Thank you. So I can do that now, and I've already been working on iron. I'm already... Hey! 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 Where are you going? Huh. Oh, he's back. He's alive. Excuse me. Thank you. So yeah, I'll do rods now because I'm already over here at the iron. Not that the copper is that far away. I mean, it's literally right behind the other factory I made, but I'm already thinking about iron. So I might as well continue with iron. Bop, bop. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, and also I should mention, for the future, because these factories do not take that much to kind of show out my thought process, right? I can put this smelter down, and I can, because it's pretty easy to, with this few machines actually doing anything, it's a lot easier to, I should put that further out because I know what I need to do later with this. So I should give myself a little more space. But yeah, as you see, it's pretty easy because that, as we've seen a couple times, is 30 iron ore to 30 iron ingots. This takes 15 iron ore, or iron ingots, and turns it into 15 iron rods. So again, this will be extraordinarily inefficient for now, but until I get my splitters, which I will do as soon as I... Whoa, what am I stuck on? I'm gonna go this way. Until I get my splitters to... do that, which as you can see, also at the top right, it does show the research that we're currently working towards, the milestone we're currently working towards. But until I have all those resources and am able to, let me get a storage down. Until I'm able to actually do the splitting, once I unlock that, I can't really make efficiency happen. So I need to power you again. More power. Power line. Boom, 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 boom. Nice. Is that gonna kill my power grid? Yes. I need to turn you on real fast, so that my power grid doesn't die. And then onwards to copper, because if I can get all the... I can't speak words sometimes, and I've gone musical. Why, I don't know. So yeah, once I get these three going, because this will be producing wire for now, once I get this going with the logistics, I'll sort of explain the final factory, because it'll end up producing wire and cable. That's a normal, so 60. It'll end up producing wire and cable at the same time, and it produces those in pretty decent numbers. And yeah, as you see, the copper is the same, 30 ore to 30 ingots. So pretty easy, not too different, which is nice. Then you get to steel at some point, and then they decided 45 was a good number, and that becomes mathematically painful, as it were, since everything is in increments of 30. But it works out pretty nicely in the end. You just gotta get it. So that's producing wire. I need a storage container. Can you line up? Thank you. And storage container. And I set all of you up, so now you just need power. I need wire, which means I need to mine some copper. I already mined some copper. That's right, because I took the node off. So I need to go turn it into some wire and probably some cable. Because I will need all of it so I can power my everything. Anyway, enjoy some sped up crafting again. Get a little more cable. That looks good. Okay. Back to power. Let me grab a power line now, since I'm gonna need it. And I probably need to put another biomass burner down if I had to guess, which means I should grab some iron things. 94 plates! That's not bad for the inefficient factory being inefficient. It's also not good. But it'll get there. It'll get there once I can... yeah, my max consumption is now above, unfortunately. Hi, it's Future Ethan here. So I realized as I'm editing this now that I didn't give a good explanation of the power grid and how I knew that I would need to put down another biomass burner when I was doing this. So let me just explain this real quick to you. So first of all, the orange box down, as you can see, we have the power grid view. And there's the little white box with all the kind of graphy lines. And at the bottom, you have the legend. And the orange box with consumption is telling you how much power you are actually consuming. So it's not how much power you could consume. It's not how much power consumption is totally attached to the grid. It's simply what is in use consuming now. How much is that? Then the darker gray line and or box in the legend represents production. Production will always stay around what your consumption is. You never produce more than you consume. So if you have the production to be able to produce 1,000 megawatts and you're only using 500, then you're not going to produce that whole 1,000. You're only going to produce 500 because that's all you need to do. Or at least with biomass. I don't remember. It's been a minute, so I don't remember if with like coal power, if that affects and changes how that works. But then the blue line is the max consumption. So that's if everything that is connected to the power grid is turned on, how much power will this use? And as you can see here, that 43 megawatts, that max consumption, that blue line, goes above the light gray line, which is capacity. So that's how much you can produce based on how much power buildings, like the biomass burners, are on the grid. So when I was doing this, I saw that the blue bar was above the light gray bar, so I knew that I needed to put down more power, else the power grid would fail because my consumption would go above my production or my capacity, which would be the same thing. But it would go above and that would break, and I'd have to put down another one and turn it back on. So I just preempted it because I saw this. But yeah, so that's a little bit about how the power grid works. Now let's get back to the video. Power in, so I don't run out of power. And now that's producing my wire. And let me finally get the little concrete down so that I can get that producing, because I want base building as soon as I can for some of those higher factories. Because, well, these ones, it may not seem like it's too bad. Oh, this is a pure, so I can't even use all of it. But yeah, with these ones, it doesn't need a smelter. Yeah, there's one thing. So, concrete is different because limestone doesn't get smelted. Limestone just goes straight into a constructor to output. Also works in numbers of 45, which, as I mentioned previously, is not my favorite. But, you know, it'll work out eventually once I have that, and also my power slugs. Which, if you don't know what power slugs are, Do not worry about that. I have... Oh, conveyor. I have no doubt you'll become infinitely? I can't speak today. Intimately familiar with power slugs as I use them in egregious amounts. This doesn't produce enough as much as I want. Power slug! I don't like your number. Power slug! I put a power slug in you because I feel like it. Power slug! It's kind of my thing. So I'm sure you'll get to know power slugs all too well, but I won't get too deep into them just yet because I won't be able to use them for a while anyway. And I don't have a reason necessarily. Like, I might even before I can use them, because there's a factory I'll build not too long from now where I will be sad that I can't use them, because one thing with power slugs for sure is screws, which build from iron rods. You can actually see them as soon as I finish right here. You can build screws. Screws numbers are there's two ways you can do screws usually. You can turn 2 constructors of rods into 3 things of screws, because it's 10 rods to 40 screws. So you get 15, 15 to 30, and then split it into 3. And I'm trying to power you. And you can do that, or you can overclock them. So what power slugs allow you to do is they allow you to overclock buildings. So you can make them produce more than they should. Obviously, with the same amount of resources, so you don't get to, like, cheat on the amount of resources you have to use. Did this kill my power grid? Please tell me it didn't. Did not. Perfect. So yeah, you don't get to cheat on the amount of resources you use, but you can do things so it's 1 rod to 1 screw. It becomes 15 to 60 instead of 10 to 40. So you can do that to make things look cleaner, and I will do that often with screws, especially. But I'll explain more on that when I actually get there to doing something with that. But yeah, I'm sure you become intimately familiar with those, because I use them a lot. So now, for the most part, I'm kind of just waiting. As you may notice, the early game can be a little bit slow. Which, again, from a developmental standpoint, I understand. There's no real way to speed it up, because you just have to start building out your infrastructure. And you have to start, getting your factories down. And obviously, especially if you're starting new, obviously I've played hundreds of hours of this game, so these factories are like a piece of cake to me. To me, they're very, like, intuitive almost. I basically probably have the blueprint for them just stashed in my brain somewhere. So, but when you're starting out too, like, learning and getting to see on much easier things. So you need to be able to do this. But it definitely can be a little bit slow, especially when you're starting a new game again. So. But it's fun. It's fun to go back and not have everything. And have to start fresh again. Sometimes. Even if you sit at this crafting bench for a long time. Speaking of which, enjoy some sped up crafting. Wire. I'm still like 90 off, but I will just let it produce in my little factory over there, because I'm pretty far off on rods too. Do I have iron ore on me? I do! Should maybe turn that into... You do not have enough yet. But when I'm done making some rods for myself to get this settled, then I should be able to have enough wire. Also, so yeah, when you have enough resources, you can just come in here and toss them in, and now you can see also at the top right that it shows that those are done. So now I just have to get the other 2, and once I fill all of those and get all those resources in, I'll be able to send up the freighter, and I will unlock my new stuff. Upon that, at that time, I will then start upgrading all my factories, and I'll sort of walk you through what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and the numbers, because I like the numbers. The numbers are kind of one of my favorite parts about this game. It's a math game, which I'm sure does not appeal to some people, because, it's not high action. There's not, crazy fights or anything. I mean, you've seen me beat up a couple of runny dudes that just charge me, but it's not, super high-octane action-packed, so I understand why this game might not appeal to some people, but I absolutely adore the math. It's just so fun. you know, doing the math and working out these. Again, these factories are a lot smaller and a lot less complicated. But when you hit the later game, they get so complicated. You start having to manage like 5 different resource buckets of, you know, I need copper and I need iron and I need limestone and I need coal and I need this and that, and you start managing all these kinds of things. You have all these different production lines because, you know, I need to produce plates for this and I need to produce screws. That's a very simple one. Hi, Ada.
Milestone
Bye, freighter.
reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to save space and enhance the productivity of your factory. Fix-It encourages you to consider investing in verticality when it comes to factory logistics.
I definitely
If you feel
won't.
stressed by this complexity, imagine yourself on the shore of a vast and calm ocean. Breathe
Oh,
in.
I might.
Visualize all the people relying on you. The sea
Yep.
is made of billions of faces, each staring at you with hope and tears in their eyes. Breathe out. Feel refreshed and focused on your duties.
Yes, there's millions of people depending on me. I hope not. That's a lot of pressure. Also, I've played hundreds of hours of this game. I've never noticed the little, like, galaxy swirl up there. That's very pretty looking. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I got my logistics. I completely lost track. I was busy listening to Ada telling me that everyone is depending on me. Right, so what do I want to optimize first? I think I'll optimize plates, because plates are what makes conveyors, which is the blood, the heart and soul of every factory. I need to do that. So now we've unlocked splitters and mergers. So these you can either attach onto already placed conveyors, which is what I'll do because I don't feel like remaking the conveyors, or what you will see when we get foundations and start building the factories like that and have everything unlocked for us already. I will end up building them before and sort of spacing it out because I am very nitpicky on spacing and not having things like, because when I first started playing this game, I would have factories that sort of, you know, your production would be here and like all your smelters would be here, and then your production would be from here to like here, and it would sort of like increase and sort of grow out awkwardly. I've gotten much better, and I hate doing that now because it annoys me, and I don't have enough resources to build a constructor for you. Anyway, yeah, before I leave though, the reason I put this splitter down is because this is a normal deposit, which means this is producing 60 iron ore per minute, and the smelters only take 30 iron ore per minute. So as it was, which again I couldn't do anything about because I didn't have splitters unlocked yet, but as it was inefficient. I was sending 60 per minute into something that was only taking 30. So, you know, it's just, for now it's going to be about fixing that. In the future it's going to be about just building things so that doesn't ever happen in the first place. Because now that I have splitters unlocked, there will be some instances, right, where I have like 120 resource deposits, and I don't have an 120 resource conveyor. Stuff like that will happen, but in large majority, I didn't make the cable. Can I put down a crafting bench? If I grab some plates, I can. So I can put down a mobile crafting bench and not run all the way back to not have enough cable anyway. Excuse me, I need some wire, thank you. But yeah, you'll see there will be some instances of like, I don't have the right level of conveyor yet, and I'll have to fix that. But in large majority, all the infrastructure beyond like conveyor level will be done beforehand. And yeah, so I don't think I mentioned this. If I did, then just ignore me, because a little TLDR, this is a re-recording. I got some feedback I recorded this earlier today, and I think I didn't do a good job. I think I was a little tired and I wasn't in the right headspace, so I'm re-recording this now. That is a very odd-looking straight conveyor. Whatever, it works. And now these merge, this is a merger, by the way, into the storage, so they just come together to go into the storage. But yeah, I don't think I've said this. When it gets to the later factories, what I tend to do to kind of figure out what I'm doing, let me go do rods now, which I'm going to need some more stuff for. So let me pick up some rods and some plates. What I end up doing is I kind of chicken scratch my factories out. I sort of like play with the numbers on like a piece of paper. and I play out with the layout and figuring out that's not what I need. Is this what I need? Yes. And I play it with figuring out like how to put it all, what kind of space I need, that kind of stuff. But obviously doing that on paper is not very good for me trying to explain it and show it off to you guys. So I'm gonna try. For this, I'm not worried about it because I haven't even written anything down. These factories, again, being so short, so few in terms of buildings, do not require as much thought out, like thinking out of what to do. But for later factories where it gets more intense, and I am going to do that, I will try to find a method to basically draw it on the computer or something, or like draw it on a drawing tablet that's connected to the computer. So that you can see what I'm doing, so you can understand my thought process, and also observe my garbage chicken scratch. Conveyor belt is too steep. That's a problem. Also, yeah, I'm just splitting this again because same as the plates, it's a 60 deposit that's going to a 30 smelter. So I just need to get another smelter in, doing iron. Though, I also need to add a bunch more constructors, because rod constructors, if we remember, only take 15 iron per minute, which they're getting 30. I don't have cable. Hey. Can't wait till I just have plethoras of everything in my inventory, and I don't ever have a problem with not having enough resources. Also, at some point, relatively soon, I don't know how soon, I don't quite remember, since I've only played one save of Satisfactory since the 1.0 update, which introduced one of my favorite things ever. I won't spoil it too much, but it is one of the greatest quality of life additions ever. This is... hold on. I don't like it. This power pole is also in a very awkward spot. Maybe not. Maybe it works, actually. That's not clipping. You said you were clipping, but you're not clipping, which is good. Because I don't like clipping. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it was one of my favorite quality of life features ever that they added to this game. And I won't spoil it too much because it is amazing. And I don't want to spoil it before I can actually show it off. But it will largely help so that I never have that problem again. Which is nice. I need to power you is what I need to do. I didn't power that constructor. Shoot! I'm forgetting all my power poles. Where is an open power pole? Is another question that I need answered. If I actually put you in the middle, can I sneak to powering this, or is that too long? I can! Nice! So there's my rods are not merging. I put this here, and I put this here, then I can merge them all. Oh, why? You were annoyed. Because you said you were on, whatever. I'll put you... It's clipping a little bit. For this factory, it's fine. But this is just merging all the rods together so that I didn't power you. Am I supposed to do that? Probably not. Pretty sure I just completely invalidated my first rule of power management, but it's fine. If it causes a problem, I can always fix it later. But, let me get my concrete going, actually, first. Because for my next milestone, which let me activate here, is base building. Because I want my foundations. Because, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't build on foundation in this game, you are a heathen. Sorry, it's just the truth. I don't have cable. And I ran out of biomass in one of my burners, probably. Or I overloaded the grid. Never mind. I need power. I need plates and wire. Just grab all my resources that I've built. yeah, what I was saying though is I want to get my concrete going first because the next one I'm doing, which is base building, requires me to have a bunch of concrete to... Can I place you down? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, to do that, I need a bunch of concrete to actually get the research. There we go. Now I should have enough capacity for what I'm doing. I didn't make the cable. Right. But yeah, I need concrete, so I want to make more concrete. Besides the fact I will need a boatload of concrete anyway in the long run for the pure purpose of I like my foundations. Everything gets built on foundation. If I can put a foundation under it, there will be a foundation under it. You can be assured of that. Except maybe these factories, since I don't always go back and actually put them on foundation. I sometimes just accept that they were built early and that they get to look not nice. And it is what it is, you know? But I might fix it, since I've never actually recorded. So now I feel like I'm going to be pressed to want to make it look good. Because there's people watching me now, and they're judging me. I don't know if they are, but they might be. And they're judging the fact that it looks awful. So I might have to go fix it. For that reason, and that reason only. Because, I mean, it works fine. That is the thing. Do not be alarmed that these factories are not working fine. They are perfectly working fine as I work on copper now. Which I will again be splitting for the same reason of 60 per minute into 30 per minute smelter. So I will toss that in there. Now, what I also need to do is I need to build more reinforced iron plates. Because wire, I can look at the constructor recipe and show you in a second when I finish. I could have built a craft bench over by me and not run all the way back here. I didn't need this. I needed plates. I need 6 plates for 3 constructors. But wire is a recipe that takes 15 ingots per minute to 30 wire. And so wire it is necessary to, I need more than that. I need 8. I lied, because I need 4 constructors. So wire, it's necessary to split the smelter into 2 different constructors. So what I'm doing now with this factory is it's been producing wire inefficiently, but now it's going to produce both wire and cable. So wire will produce 30 iron ingots, so half of what the miner is producing gets me 60 wire per minute, which in wire standards is not insane by any means, but it's not bad. It's absolutely a good production. You are clipping. I haven't the energy to fix you. So you just get to clip for now. I will probably end up fixing it later, so do not be alarmed that it'll stay clipping forever. Because, I mean, not that you necessarily would have been alarmed anyway. It's a Satisfactory thing. I can't believe, in my heart of hearts, that anyone has honestly played this game in its entirety. And I mean, maybe, you know, a singular playthrough, maybe. I would accept that they have done it without clipping. But I cannot believe that anyone has honestly completed this game in their entire career, or, you know, I guess career maybe not the right word, but their entire time playing this game without having something clip, and they just left it because they didn't feel like dealing with it. I struggle to believe. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm sure it is, and I'm sure there's someone who's done it, because I'm sure plenty of people play this game. I don't actually know the statistics on how many people have played this game, but it is a lovely game, so everyone should play this game. I need to twist you, but you don't twist by 90 degrees because you're not on a foundation. I'm missing my foundations again. Can you go nicely? Will that allow me to put a conveyor here? Yes, perfect. Okay, and then you need to have a splitter. Where is it? Sure, there. That seems good. Conveyor. Straight does not make that look better, but I'm going to do it anyway, because it's funny. It does look kind of funny. So now we're going to have half of our copper come in and produce this wire. This will use 30 copper ingots to produce 60 wire per minute, which will then go into here, which will turn that 60 wire per minute into 30 cable. And then we'll have both of those going, which will be very good, because for power management, you need both of them in extraordinary amounts. So having that start to build up will also be good. Put the storage down. Nice. Boom! And now I need to power you all. Do I have enough cable for that? I hope so. Power that. Power you. I'm stuck in my buildings. Power you. Power you. And then toss this. Power you. And this all should be working. Working nice and stellar, too. And then I'll produce... do I have enough concrete for base building? If not, I can just wait a little bit and get that concrete. But I do! Wow. I really didn't think I would, honestly. But I guess since I upgraded it, it's probably producing decently fast. It should be producing at... I don't want to think about math per minute. Well, I don't know, because it's 45 to 30, right, is the concrete recipe. And then I'm giving it... Each is getting 30 per minute, so it should produce 20, so 40 per minute. So it shouldn't take that long to get 200, yeah. It's not surprising, actually. But I was set up my base building research. And now I can build my foundations. Goodbye, freighter!
Milestone reached. Several new structures
now I
are
have
now
foundations.
available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid,
Goodbye.
which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
True, true. I appreciate you, Ada, looking out for my efficiency. But yeah, what makes foundations nice, I'll just show you a little bit now before I end this episode, is that one, everything rotates by 90 degrees, which is really nice. And two, it snaps. So the snapping makes it a lot easier to get things lined up, to get things in nice order. It makes everything so much nicer. I promise you that you've seen these factories now and the unevenness and the weird spacing and all that. I promise you, once I start getting foundations under my factories, they will look so much better. It may not look perfect. Don't get me wrong. I am by no means the best person to have ever played this game, and it may not be the best factories ever made, but it'll look a lot better. So, with that said, I'm going to leave this first episode of Factory Fridays here. I don't think I need to espouse about how much I love this game. I think I've kind of been doing that as I've been going because I adore this game. Obviously, I have hundreds of hours, and, you know, I know this game like the back of my hand, but it's such a fun game. It's such fun, especially if you get into the efficiency and you really start doing that, and the later factories are just such an accomplishment. You feel so good when they start working and it's all working nicely. But we're not there yet. We're at some very early game stuff that will produce us a lot of resources that we will need throughout the game. So this will by no means become obsolete, but still. So, yeah. But if you are enjoying the content, make sure to drop a like and maybe a subscription. That will really help me out. And if you have any feedback or suggestions on games you maybe want to see me play, you should toss those in the comments down below. But yeah, this is the end of the first Factory Friday. So yeah, next Friday you can look out for another Satisfactory video where I continue my journey to mechanized glory, to automated... I was going to say automated autonomy, but that just doesn't make sense. Automated glory. I'm going to use that again. I don't know. It works. But yeah, you can look forward to that next Friday. But yeah, that's where this is going to end. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.